Great evening, everyone. Welcome back to National Entrepreneur One Show. I am yours truly, Jasmine D. Millhouse, the self-love transformation coach. And I am here with another wonderful interview. I cannot wait until you all are graced with this individual that I'm interviewing on tonight. Before I get into this amazing bio and let you know who she is, again, thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome to National Entrepreneur Month. Again, if for you all that do not know me, my name is Jasmine D. Millhouse, and I am the Self Love Transformation Coach, where I help women tackle their obstacles and their oppositions to reconcile their self love through daily strategies and personal coaching. But we are not here to talk about any of that tonight. We are here to get into another entrepreneur because I do National Entrepreneur Month every November every year, and I interview so many great entrepreneurs all around the world, and just getting into their story, what got them into entrepreneurship, their fears, their doubts, their conquering moments, and things that got them to stay strong and stay stagnant and get not be stagnant. I'm sorry, not be stagnant, not be stuck, and get out of the mindset of being mundane and walking in their purpose. And tonight it is going to be so amazing. I like to say, if you are a note taker, get your notes, get your notepads, your pencils, whatever you can write on and whatever you can write with, because this queen that I'm going to be talking to tonight is going to be bringing some wonderful nuggets. She is my personal coach that got me to be where I am today. So I had to bring her in here. But I'm going to read a little bit about her bio, okay? Miss Nyala Thorpe is a marketing and income strategist who's best known for her straight shooter teaching. It is. Nyala has been featured in HuffPost, CBS, Fox 34, the Philadelphia Tribune, and a popular podcast. Since 2012, she has paved the way for countless women to see past their circumstances and to stand in their power. Her clients have gone on to be featured in publications like OWN and shared stages with notable leaders. After defeating the odds of becoming a statistic in the NYC foster care system, Nyala went on a mission to help change the lives of women who were meant for more. In 2020, while on this mission, Nyala got the news that she had cancer. So she was forced to pivot through a pandemic while battling cancer and taking care of her family. Nyala then decided it was time to not only bring awareness to women about paying attention to their bodies, but to also position their business to thrive through trials. Nyala believes that you are the missing ingredient. Your story and experiences hold the power to transform your life and the lives of those who are divinely aligned to serve. She created Market Your Message formula, which teaches entrepreneurs how to find and market their unique message so that you can create the life you deserve and the life that you desire. Now, I can say I am a living testimony, okay? Let me just plug that in real quick. So, if you want to know who is partly responsible for this little lady right here, you are about to meet her. Okay. So, without further ado, it is my privilege, it is my honor to introduce to you my coach, Miss Nyala Thorpe. How are you doing, Queen?
Girl, I'm listening to the intro. I'm like, all of that. Hey, girl,
Hello.
thank you so much for inviting me.
You are so welcome. I had to. I had to.
I was
I
waiting
had
for this
to.
conversation.
Yeah. So, okay. Now, before we get into these questions, all right,
Mhm,
that everybody is so anxiously waiting for,
mhm.
reading your bio, and I know we're gonna get in a little bit about that. Um, so I guess let me start off with the first question. I'll just do that. Okay.
Okay.
How do you define who Nyala Thorpe is?
A lady with resilience, a lady who loves people, um, a lady who always tries to see the positive in everything. I smile more than I'm mad. um, God's daughter. That's who I am.
Hmm. Wow. That alone in itself, that'll make me cry right there.
Ooh.
Cause that's a story wrapped up in a sentence. Okay.
Yeah.
And with you being in the New York foster care system, having a rough childhood,
Hmm.
then you get, fast forward, you go through your tests, your trials, and okay, I want to be an entrepreneur. What was that thing that made you step into wanting to become an entrepreneur?
Truth be told, I was destined to be an entrepreneur. So I am a fourth generation on woman, fourth generation businesswoman in
Mhm.
my family. My family, I'm the first person in my family to be born here in America. And so my family migrated from Trinidad and Tobago. And my
Okay.
great grandmother was one of the first female top businesswomen in the country. And then my mom came here and she wanted to create that for her family here in the US. And so I grew up watching her do business. She is, a CPA, financial strategist, and I just grew up watching her in business. I grew up seeing that. So, truth be told, I feel like because of that, I was destined to be an entrepreneur, right?
Hmm.
Because they say, the Bible say, train up a child in the way he should go. When he gets old, they'll never depart from it. So that's not only with, raising your children in the church, or it's also what your children see growing up is usually what they remember, even if they
Hmm.
fell off the path, even if they stopped for a minute. And, that was me, rebellious
Right.
from birth. But,
Right.
you train up a child, right? So seeing my family being business owner, seeing my mom be a business owner, and then seeing her get into network marketing and all of that, it was destined for me. So when I became a teenage mom and I needed to make extra money, the only thing I knew was sell something,
Mm.
right? My mom always said that as long as you knew how to do something, as long as you knew something that somebody else didn't, you could always sell something, right? And so that's how I got into entrepreneurship. I was destined to be an entrepreneur, but hard times and me wanting to just create more for my kid that's where it all started.
Mm.
Mhm.
Okay. And going back a little further from that, what was that journey as a teenage mom and wanted to do, more for your children, in regards of what you were, accustomed to, and how was that for you with transitioning into entrepreneurship? What was your mindset during that time?
My mindset was there was this is what I had, like it was there's no plan B. You're living on welfare, you're in section 8, you are that statistic, what they
Mm.
would say. But better, you were raised better, you could do better, you're stronger. So it was like, okay, you're gonna do this. You know what I mean? That was my mindset. Like, you're gonna do this, and the reason why is because you need that extra money to take care of your daughter, and there's no one coming to save you. So you're gonna make this happen. And that's the mindset that I had going into entrepreneurship. I was very young, right? But then I would also say to you, like I said, my mom was in, network marketing, and I remember businesses that I was in not even knowing because of who she was. She used to sign me up and I would get checks coming in the mail and I would call her and be like, Mom, And she's like, oh yeah, I joined this company and I needed 4 people this month. So I just signed you up, right? And so it was like before I even started my own business, she was like,
Right.
you're gonna be a business owner, okay?
Right.
So yeah, that's how it was. So I just knew it was gonna happen. So I went in
Hmm.
forceful, you know?
Yeah. And good
Mm-hmm.
evening to everyone that is tuning in. If I hadn't said hey to y'all, I'm so sorry. Forgive me, but y'all look, I'm excited. But and also if you for those of you that are tuning in, let us know where you're watching from. If anything resonates with you, make sure you put it in the comments, okay? Share
Yes.
this on your pages, share this in your groups, and also tag someone in the comments as well to get them on this interview tonight. So, next question is looking over, your entrepreneur journey and the things that you have overcome. What is one moment or one time in your life that stands out the most?
I would say it would be recently. I've been through a lot, but the most recent thing was the thing.
Yeah.
And so when I got diagnosed with cancer during the pandemic, obviously, I was going through uncertain times. I had to still be a mother. I still had to be a entrepreneur, a boss. I still had to, had responsibilities, but I was going through, fighting for my life every day and basically facing death in their face every day, not knowing how things was going to turn out. So I would
Right.
say, that would have been my biggest challenge that I've had to overcome, and that I'm still
Hmm.
overcoming,
Right, right.
Mhm.
And kind of going into, the topic of the live is how to have systems in place,
Mhm.
that can work for you even, when you can't. Being the marketing and income strategist that you are,
Mhm.
you are the systems queen,
Yes.
okay? So why is it so important to have things lined up in place, or even a team that can help assist you with that in moments like these, being in a pandemic, going through a sickness, a crisis where you don't know if you're going to be here, the next moment or not, and still have to think about your legacy? How important is that, and why do push that so much, to have your systems in place?
Yeah, well, before you kind of said it all right there. Before I got sick, this was always my mission, which was women to structure their business. And the reason why is because we want freedom, right? So we say that we are creating businesses because, maybe your thing that you want to do is leave your job. Maybe your thing that you want to do is be able to, not worry about bills. Maybe one of your thing is you have a charity that you want to give back to, or whatever your thing is. We are creating these businesses because we have a life that we desire. We
Hmm.
desire freedom. I know for me, before got into entrepreneurship full time, I was working a job and still trying to do my business at night, staying on YouTube till 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, right? And
Right.
so that was what my life was like. And I did not want that life, but I was growing a business so I can get out of that, so I could create a more freedom filled life, right? And so, if that's you, the number one reason why having systems is important is because that's what you want to do, right? So, what's the sense of being tied down to a 9 to 5 job, but then you come and you open your business and create it where you're tied down to the business? Right.
Mm.
There are a lot of things that people are doing that systems can do for them. There are a lot of things that people are doing that if another person was handling that task for them, they would be able to make more money. So number one is you want a freedom life, and systems help you get that. But then also number two is what happened to me when I got sick. Life happens, right? I didn't know that I would turn around and be in a treatment center every day getting chemotherapy for 6 to 7 hours every day. I didn't know that I would, my body would start rejecting the chemo and I would end up in ICU, for over 7 days straight. Can't talk, can't this, can't. I wouldn't know. I didn't know that I would end up not being able to walk and my mom having to shower me. And, I didn't know. But guess what? While all of that was happening, I had my daughter starting college. I had my son who had to go away to boarding school because I couldn't homeschool him, right? I still had employees that had to be paid, right? So the business still had to run. And so
Mm,
life happens. And that is the reason why it is our responsibility as business owners to structure our business to be able to run for us, to implement the right systems that can help, right? When these things happen, right? So those would be like the two most important, even though I know I could talk about this forever, right? Right. But that would have to be the two most important reasons why, and oh, you know what? Number three, because you want to make money. Because you want to make money. Because you want to make money in your sleep, right?
simple.
That's simple enough, right? And so that's what systems can do for you, right? And so most people don't know where to start. And that's why you have to always seek information. That's why shows like this right here, that's bringing the information, is so important.
Mm, Speaking of
Hmm.
shows like this, and being getting the information that you need, being informed, how is okay? So kind of put into perspective of, yeah, we have the system. Okay, I went through this little program. I got my little system. Now what do I do? How do you take it from getting the system to operating the system, and and making sure you stay knowledgeable and apply the knowledge that you're receiving to keep that going? Like, why is that?
Well, of course, if I want to get like technical, it would depend on what the system is. But
Hmm.
if we're just talking about being an entrepreneur, period, number one, being in the right communities, right? And so when you're in coaching groups, whether they're paid or free groups, and if you are going to be in free groups, then you got to be disciplined enough to be a part of the group, right? Being in those type of environments with like-minded people, that helps you with execution, that helps you with momentum, that helps you with when you get stuck sometimes, because you could create your systems. And again, it depends on what type of systems we're talking about. Right now I'm just talking about your ecosystem as a whole, your business system and how it runs, the different moving parts, right? When you get stuck and you're in the right communities, you could go back, you can ask a question. So a lot of people, they invest one time and they get certain things and they're like, okay, boom, I can go, I can run with this. But entrepreneurship is a real lonely thing. And you get a lot further when you are with like-minded individuals that are also working towards their goals, right? And so I would
Hmm.
say community is number one that will help you with execution, right? And the next thing is accountability, right? And so you could be accountable to your community, yes, but it's also good to be accountable to a coach, or some type of mentor, somebody, right? Because again, on this journey, we could get excited, we could, invest to get these systems created, and we're like, all right, we're going to start going out there. For example, let's say a sales funnel, right? That's a simple system that anybody could set up in their business to be able to generate leads and start getting sales, right? That's what
Right,
is in my business. So
right.
when I got sick, the reason why I was still able to generate, over $300,000 in the year, even though I didn't work pretty much at all, right? It was
Right.
because and I wasn't taking on any clients. That's another thing.
Yeah.
So I'm a high ticket coach. So for me, one client is $15,000, right? And so I didn't have no clients because I didn't want to take on new clients, not knowing how my day to day was going to be fighting this
Right.
disease. So,
Hmm.
literally, we relied on our systems to make money for us, right?
Hmm.
And so, let's
Right.
say we're talking about a sales funnel system, right? And you got it set up, and now you got to get traffic into this system. You have
Hmm.
questions. You don't know what to do. Sometimes you put posts out and nobody shows up.
Right.
Sometimes you do a live stream and you're doing it to zero people. And then you go in, you're by yourself and you say, man, I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if I could keep going. But see, if you had a coach, if you had someone that you could be accountable to, then during those times, you'll be able to go back to that coach, and that coach would be there to, get you right back on gear. So it's really important that you are in the right communities and you are holding yourself accountable by having a coach or a mentor to guide you and hold your hand through this process.
Mm.
I just said a lot, but
And I hope y'all, that are tuned in, I hope you're taking notes, because that is some very key and important information, is to have a coach. Because yeah, we think, all right, just like you were saying, okay, I got it. I invested in this program, I paid 3K or 15 or whatever the case may be, and now I feel like I can just, take off running like road runner, and then I
right,
got it, and then I'm gonna make, six figures by tomorrow. It doesn't work like that all the
right,
time. It's a goal. Not saying that you can't achieve it, but you need someone that's going to help you implement different things when you come across that moment where you put something into play, and it
right,
may not go the way that you think it is. It's like, okay, well, let me go back to the drawing board, coach. This is what I did. Okay, well, tweak it like this, and then do it like that, and now run it and see what it does. When you don't have that support, or that, the person that you can go to for a different perspective, and it makes sure it's someone that is in a position that you're trying to go to, and not saying that you can, let the accountability partner be someone where, where you are, but the person that's in the level that you want to go to, that's the person that you want to have as your coach. And for you being in your position, making, you just basically quoted, making over six figures a year, your number, if you book a client, that's 15K easy. Why is it important for someone that is in your category, and the knowledge that you have, the coaching programs that you offer, and the skills that you possess, that you also have a coach as well?
Well, I was having this conversation with a client very recently, and I was telling her, when I was in the beauty industry, because remember, I used to be a hair salon owner before I moved into teaching people how to grow their businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were in the hair industry,
Mm-hmm.
we had something called continuing education, right? And so
Right.
that meant that every year there were conferences, there were seminars that we would attend where new techniques would come out. You would go to these conferences, you would learn the new hair techniques. And I feel like it's the same thing in my industry. For me to be the best for my clients, I have to continue education. If you're not learning, you're not growing. If you're not growing, you're not living. You
Mm.
understand? So at the end of the day, I might be really great at what I do, but I have so much more to learn. And I am a business owner just like my clients, right? And so there's times when I want to go to someone that's 10 steps ahead of me to say, hey, I'm working on this, da 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 da, what you think, right? And so I think that's important. Another thing is me having coaches and mentors. Like, I love my mentor, Linda Clemens. There's never a time that I do not shout her out. Me having a mentor, it just puts me in a place of learning the coach and the client and mentor relationship
Mm-hmm.
and how that's supposed to look, right? And that helps me now have a better coach and client relationship with my clients because I'm learning, and so I just think it's really important. I put out a story on Instagram the other day. Will Smith is releasing his book, and he put out a picture the other day. I don't want to jack this man's name up. I probably shouldn't even say the name, but I think his last name is Mason. And I know he wrote a book and I read the book.
Right.
And he Will Smith put out a picture with him, and he's like, I wouldn't have been able to get through this process of writing my book without so and so. And I shared it to my story, and I said, the greats even need a coach, right? The
Right.
greats need a coach. You would think Will Smith, he's a great to me. I grew up watching him. He's a great to me, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you would think he has it all together, right? I seen he put out this YouTube video not too long ago, or a reel or something, where he called his book agency and he said, I can't do it. I quit. We're not going to do it. Right. And so he's sharing with us some of the phases and stages that he went through in the process of writing his book, and he had a coach to help him. So
Mm-hmm.
you see, coaches need coaches too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um,
Hey, Rashina.
hey,
Hello.
Rashina. And it also, kind of lets you know that, yeah, I'm at, a certain level, but I'm still, human as well. I still need help. I still, have things that I want to, learn. I have knowledge that I want to
That's
know
right.
how to apply,
That's
because
right.
we all don't know everything. When you feel like you've made it to the point to where you've arrived and can't nobody tell you anything, then that becomes problematic, because it leaves no room for growth. It leaves no room for elevation. It leaves no room for, going to the next level of what you're trying to achieve. So when you don't open yourself up to getting you a coach or getting someone that can mentor you to take you to that next level, it keeps you right at the level that you are.
That's
And
right.
now, to some people, may look at you and say, man, I wish I can be there. But you still have to
Yeah.
understand that if you don't open your mind and you don't, humble yourself enough to say, I need help. I don't know it. I don't know everything. Then it keeps you right here. So, and my next question for you is, when or if ever faced with a challenge that presents fear, what has been your regimen or your routine for combating that fear mindset?
Woo, that's a fully loaded question. I think it would be, I think I first would have to say it depends on what I'm feeling fearful about.
Mhm.
So if it's something like, maybe showing up, maybe I'm trying something new that, I'm stepping out of the box, right? A lot of times I focus on my audience. I focus on my purpose. And I know it sounds a little cliche, but it's really true. I focus on the people who I'm supposed to help, and if I don't push through, then how can I lead, right? How can I call myself a leader if I'm not willing to push through the fear? Or how can I come up here and say, hey, keep working, keep doing, if I'm not doing it? So, first, I think about my people, and that helps me. Now, there are other cases where the fear might take me over. I have those moments where I would have like an ugly cry for about 15 minutes, right? And then I'll be like, okay, come on now, right?
Right,
But those are the times that I'll step away. Again, going back to systems, we're talking about systems today. I'm
right.
glad that I'm able to do that, right? So those are the times that I would step away. Those are the times that you may not see me do a live for about a month because I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm working on me, right? And so I would say those would be the two ways that I would combat fear. I feel like it's faith over fear,
Mhm.
I know what I'm meant here to do, and I know who I'm meant to serve, and I know that fear is just a word, right? As long as we could take that first step, you know um all of a sudden the fear is gone. I shared this in an email the other day, and I was talking about when I got pregnant with my daughter, and I was a teenager
Mhm.
and I was scared, man. Just from watching those movies and seeing what it was like to give birth, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna make it, right? And so I was really scared, but I went through it, right? I went through it, and it's like as soon as you have that baby, all of a sudden you don't feel the pain. You didn't all that fear you was feeling, all that anxiety, it's all gone, right? And so I feel like if you compare that to your business, it's the same thing. You're gonna go through fear, but if you kind of push through and just take that first step, all of a sudden you'll be like, man, what was I scared of? Here we go. Right. So sometimes it's just to push. That's why people say push through, right? So yeah,
Right.
I feel like I have to lead by example. So I'm gonna first push through, and
Mhm.
I'm gonna also take care of myself when I need to, because that's another thing that I tell people to do, right? Take care of yourself when you need to. So if I have to step back, I'm gonna step back. You
Mhm.
know, yeah, yeah.
And in those moments where you step back, just kind of asking, like, getting into a marketing question, okay?
Mhm.
In those moments where you're having your, I need to work on me, I need to go, digress and just have my self time. How important, with, again, having systems, to
Mhm.
have your email marketing in place, campaigns, and, stuff like that set up. how important or why or how often do you feel like you should have those emails going out to your audience to stay relevant and to stay in their eyes, and things like that?
Well, first of all, we're talking about two separate things, right? And I just want to make sure I'm clear, because no matter who's listening, us right now, I really want you to be able to get some value. Okay, so let's first start with a sales funnel, right? So a sales funnel would be you giving away a free gift. Somebody goes to a page, they see a free gift, they like it, they want it. They put their name and their email in, they hit submit. When they hit submit, they get an automated email. That's a system. They get an automated email delivering the information that they just signed up for. And then what they would get if you guys are setting this up, what they would get is a series of emails over the next, 8 to 10 or 14 days, how many ever you want to create. And so now that is a automated system. That is something that's always going to work for you, right? And so if you step back away from the business and maybe you're not doing organic marketing, maybe you're not doing shows like what Jasmine is doing right now, maybe you're not doing content because you're on vacation for the month, right? You can turn on an ad and you can send traffic into that free lead magnet and know that you have some automated emails that's educating, that's sharing your story, that's selling the things that I teach people to do. You would have that set up, right? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
boom. That's one way. But now the second way is what you're talking about is broadcast. Those are like emails that you might wake up today. Like, for example, I know that I had to do this interview with you, Jasmine, today. And so I could have, if we weren't in a launch, I could have wrote an email to my list and say, hey, I'm going to be on the National Entrepreneur Month show at 8 o'clock tonight. Come and join me, right? And so now that's a piece of content. That's an email that I'm sending out to bring people to come get some, value from me. So it's
Mm-hmm.
two ways that you could look at it. I believe that you need a system. You need the automated system, right? So that way, when you can't do your daily marketing, your organic marketing that you would do normally, your business is still running for you. And that is the key.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. Again, for all y'all tuning in, I hope you all are enjoying this content. I hope you are getting some copious notes. I do got to do a quick plug, real quick. To anyone that has comments about my hat, I'm a brand ambassador for Bonnie's Hat Rack. She is located in the great state of Tennessee. So if you like this hat rack, her name is Tamika Crockett right here on Facebook. Make sure you check her out, and I will tag her in the comments later on after we end this broadcast. I just had to do a quick plug real quick
Love that
because
hat.
I had a couple people, asking about my hat. But back to Miss Nyala. Um, and again, thank you, for being so generous with your information. I know it sounds so simple, but it's really very detailed and detail oriented when it comes to having these systems that are in place that are working for your business, even when you're in situations when you can't. When did you realize for yourself that you already had systems in place before you knew what a system was in your business?
I would say about 4 or 5 years ago, I realized as I was online just learning, continuing education, what we're talking about, me
Hmm.
just learning new things. And I'm like, oh, I got that. Oh, wait a minute. I have that. Right. And so there were things that I already had, because like I said, when I started my business, I was the rock bottom story. And so I spent a lot of time teaching myself and doing certain things. So yeah, I just didn't know that they were automated systems. It's like even my email, my database, my email list. I tell this story often that before I got into the coaching and consulting industry, when I had my hair salon, we
Hmm.
used to have people fill out a new client intake form every time they would come into the salon. And that's
Hmm.
where we would ask, like, name, address, date of birth, so we could send, gift certificates, all of that, right? And so when I closed my salon down and I went through my months of depression, hit, feeling like a failure, and then
Hmm.
decided to come back and start over again, the first thing that I did did is I emailed this list that I had and told them that the salon was no longer open and that I was making a shift, and that I was going to be now helping people grow their business, right? And so that was my database. I called it a day. That's why when people hear me say database, they look at me funny, because in the brick and mortar world, that's your database. In the
Right.
online world, this is your email list or
Yeah.
your email subscribers. So when they're talking about it, I'm like, I got an email list, right? Even though, majority of them was hair clients, but you get
Right.
what I'm saying, right? That's how I stumbled upon it, and I realized, wow, I was on the right track.
Yeah. That, and just with you saying that, I wouldn't even have thought about, about doing that. Man, having a list, you see my husband just put in here, your list is your most valuable
Oh yeah,
asset in business. If you know how to build your email list, you
that's
can make
right.
money whether you're on Facebook, Instagram, or not. You can shut down all your social media if you have your email list. Case in point, the whole, what was it, a week or two ago, Facebook, Instagram shut down, right? Shut down. If you did not have how, like, being in those moments right there, it goes into explaining the reason why you should have systems that work even when you can't. Because,
You
go ahead.
Jasmine, I was also gonna add in, because what you just said right there was like powerful, okay? Because you know what? Not only is the systems is not only is systems important, but structure is important. See, I've been in business for 20 years. And so I've seen a lot of things come and a lot of things go, right?
Hmm.
But what never changes is foundations, is structures, is right. And so even if the whole internet shut down and you couldn't email your list, you should still be able to contact your people, right? You should still, this is the reason why, I'm always preaching structure. I'm always preaching being able to present, right? Because
Hmm.
even if you couldn't go online at all and email your list, you should still be able to go and teach at a local training, create a local workshop. You should still be able to run your business. You understand what I'm saying? The internet
Right.
should not control how you make money.
Mm. I hope y'all caught that
It's a
nugget.
tool. It's
I
a
hope you caught that
tool.
nugget.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Because it's a lot of, and not to, shade or
Oh,
come
not at
at,
all.
any online entrepreneurs,
I am
because
one.
amen,
I'm one. We're online right
we're
now,
on right,
guys.
exactly. But it's just, what do you have outside of your social media platform? How are you staying engaging, or engaging your audience, outside of the people that may not be on social media? Because you still have some people that don't like Facebook, don't like Instagram, they don't want anything to do with the internet. Matter of fact, they don't know anything about a computer to even get on social media.
Right.
So how are you reaching those people? What do you have in place that can help you reach, I don't want to call them dinosaurs, but for the people
Yeah,
that don't want to be on social media watching shows like this, and all of that stuff, that just only know how to operate an email or call me on the phone, soliciting, some kind of way.
that's
How are
right.
you reaching those? You still have to think about that clientele as well. And kind of switching back into another question, and this is just a little switch up a little bit.
Okay.
um Being in business, how important has it been for you to know and come to the understanding that everyone is not meant to be your client?
Hmm. Man, Jasmine, why are you asking all these difficult questions tonight? I can't even put my finger on how I came to that. I think if I had to
Mm,
really think about it, I would say hearing a lot of no's,
mm-hmm,
promoting and seeing people not really pay attention, but then seeing other people pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
Working with so many people over the years and realizing who I can really serve and who I was meant to serve, right? Because there was also people who I've had to let go over the years because it wasn't in alignment. So I think it would be experience that
Mm,
helps you learn that.
mm, mm. And what will you say that you have learned or the wisdom you've gained
Mhm.
from your failures in business?
What do you mean?
Meaning, okay, so just say you have something that you set your mind to and you wanted it to work.
Hmm.
Case in point, your hair salon,
Uh-huh.
and you had to shut it down and you felt like a failure.
Yeah.
What was the wisdom that you gained in that moment after losing your hair salon and, opening businesses that may not have, went in the direction that you wanted it to go? What were the things that you learned from those moments?
I learned a lot of things, you know. One, I learned that they were never failures, they were lessons that I needed to experience. That's why I'm such a great consultant that I am today. Is because of those failures and the things that I have learned. You know, like even right now, I do a plan to profit boot camp every year, right? And it's all about helping, business owners
Mm-hmm.
plan.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I always say is, listen, when I lost my hair salon, it started with someone throwing a rock outside of the hair salon and all the glass shattered. And because I did not have plans in place, I couldn't come back from that, right? And so it
Mm-hmm.
started to become like first the rent was a little slow that first month, and then so it was like one thing after the other, right? And then so due to lack of planning, I lost the business. And then because of planning, I was able to grow a multiple six-figure business in 18 months, right? It
Mm-hmm.
doing planning, right? And so that's one lesson that I've learned, the importance of having the right plans in place when you are looking to do anything, right? And so even if you're going on a trip, the first thing you do is you open your phone, you put the address in the GPS, because you need the plan, you need the directions, you need the roadmap, you need to be able to look and say, okay, this is where I'm going, this is why I'm doing it, right? And so that way, even when you get lost for a minute, you go back on track, right? Because you
Right.
have that plan. And so that's the first lesson that I've learned. The second thing that I've learned is delegate fast, right? Because, you
Mm.
know, um, when I first started my coaching business, I wasn't in that mindset, right? Because I just lost the business. I felt like a failure. So there, even though I did a lot up until that, I wasn't seeing that, right? And so for me, I was like, oh, I can't afford to hire. I just lost the business. I need to make money back right now. How am I going to hire someone, right? And these are the things that I was thinking. And if I could do it all over again, no, I did have the money to hire. And if I did start small, even if it was to hire somebody for 5 hours a week or 10 hours a week, I would have been able to reach my income goals a lot faster. I would not have went through all those years of, going around, trying to do everything and be everything. So that's the
Yeah.
second thing. And then and let me just say this, guys, like I have so many more lessons that I've learned from my failures. Right now, I'm just trying to give you the ones that I think are the main ones and the ones
Mm-hmm.
that I feel will be able to help you right now in whichever season you're in, right? So the third lesson that I've learned is to learn to take advice. And this is where it comes to being coachable. Okay. And so when I first decided that I wanted to open up my salon, I was still on welfare. I was still living on Section 8. As a matter of fact, I was selling my food stamps every month. And I did that for 6 months. I was getting like $700 and something dollars in food stamps. And I was selling it every month and saving that money, added it to my tax refund, and that is how I opened up my hair salon. And so when I opened up my hair salon, I had my sister-in-law, who was a salon owner in the Poconos. So obviously you go and you ask the people who is doing what you're doing. And so
Right.
one of the advice that she said to me is, Nyala, are you sure that you're ready this minute? Like your book is at 176. You know, you're working in the house, you got something going. Remember, you're going to need some backup funds if anything happened. This is how you got to think about it when you get into the business. So do you think that you should wait? But I felt like, nah, she trying to, this is my time. Okay. It's time for me to do this. So I didn't take that advice. And if I could do it all over again, I probably would have taken that advice. Right. And so I also learned that it's important that when you seek guidance, that when you seek out a mentor and you have someone who has taken the steps before you guide you, it's important to listen.
Mm.
There
Mm.
are so many people out here wasting money and paying coaches and not listening. Right? So those are the three that I would say. Like, like don't even invest until you're ready to be coachable.
Wow.
Because honestly, not being coachable is what makes the journey harder and longer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm. That part. Exactly, Rashina. That part. That part. When you don't have the, because this is how I had to, because I was one of those beginning uncoachable people. Just gonna, put my
Me
whole
too.
business out there and be honestly transparent. Ask Nyala, she'll tell you. And she was like, what are you doing? So I had to get in the mindset of, okay, this is someone that I invested in, that is somewhere that I am looking to get to. So obviously she knows the ins and outs of what she's doing to get to this level. And I had to stop being stubborn and say, okay, if you invested in not only her, but you invested in yourself, do you not think that you're worth the investment of being coachable and learning what is being taught to you?
Yeah.
What systems have already been set in place for you to go in,
Yeah.
look at the videos, get the training, come to the live classes, and just do the work?
Yeah.
Because if you don't do the work, what's the point of doing the investment? It's a waste of money that you're throwing away, that you're not going to get no return on, and you're still going to be stuck in the same position that you was in a year ago before you did the investment. So being coachable is key to going to your next level. It all lines up with having a system.
Yeah.
You know how your day runs. You know you got a coach. You know you got class. Okay, I shut off all social media, no TV time. This is the time for me to do my work and for me to be able to continue perfecting and building my craft and walking in my purpose and doing exactly what I set my mind out to do. Again, systems. They're in place for a reason. And just kind of staying on this right here. I know you kind of mentioned your mentor, one of your biggest mentors earlier,
Yes.
but who are your other mentors that have helped mold you, but outside of, I know you say your mom and your grandmother, you've been the fourth generation entrepreneur in your family, and one here in the US. But outside of your core circle, who has been your biggest mentor that has shaped you to get to where you are today?
Ooh, you told me to take it out of the equation. I was gonna say an aunt of mine.
Okay,
My
that's
aunt,
fine.
because a mentor is not only like, I know this is the National Entrepreneur Month show. I know, but we're still people. And I
Right.
feel like if you don't only have mentors for your business, you have mentors for personal, you have mentors to have a successful marriage. Like for example, my godmother is one of my mentors in the area of marriage. My aunt personal in the area of I used to be someone that struggled with a lot, like a chip on her shoulder, with all the
Mm,
things that I've been through. And my aunt was the person that mentored me through just learning new perspectives and, new ways to see yourself, new ways to show up and show out that had nothing to do with business, right? So I have so many mentors that have helped me along the way in different areas of my life.
mm. And that, and I love having, different mentors that um are in different areas, because one mentor can't mentor you everywhere. They may be experienced in different areas, but you want to have someone for different moments, different periods, because every mentor is not meant for every level. So you have to
Very
make sure
important.
that when you're growing and as you're maturing, to be selective with who you're listening to, who you're letting into your close moments, the
Absolutely.
moments that you clutch close to you, business wise or personal, because having the wrong mentor in that season can ultimately change the perspective or the trajectory of where your life is going.
Yeah.
And you can detour in a wrong direction by listening or taking the wrong instructions in the wrong season.
Hmm.
So it is, I'm glad you kind of pointed that out, of having different mentors in different areas in your life.
Yep.
I do have two more questions.
Okay.
Well, one's a question and one is just kind of like our wrap up.
Okay.
um what is one piece of advice that you would give to that person that is looking to be an entrepreneur, already in entrepreneurship, that doesn't know which direction to go in, or is kind of stuck or stagnant in this moment? What would be that one piece of advice you would give?
Speak up. Ask a question. Like, I mean, speak up, ask a question, right? Don't keep going in circles trying to figure it out if you don't know. It's always good to just ask, and I think a lot of times if we feel like we're new in something, and this is why we go back to being in the right communities. I feel like even right here in this moment, you're watching a show like this. This is a great forum to just ask, because then someone will be able to guide you. What your next step is going to look different for every person, right? So each and every one of us next step is different, right? Your next step might be to make $500,000 a month. Your next step might be to actually get started, right? So
Hmm.
everyone's step is different, and that's the reason why you have to be willing to speak up and ask for help. That's another one. I created a framework called the 5 P's for dealing with the prognosis. And one of those P's is, partnership. And that's knowing how to partner with people, never being afraid to ask for help, never being afraid to reach out and touch the people who have the information that you need. Because when I was sick, that's what helped me. When I
Mm,
was sick, it was people. I had one person, Katrina Young, shout out to her, that when I got the diagnosis of cancer, I had just launched our Done For You coaching funnels.
mhm,
And we had got like 10 sales that week that I had launched, right? And it was in beta. So it was a $500 funnel, right? And so imagine that you have all these people that just bought a funnel, right? And one of the bonuses that I gave was I would do a call with them, and it would be a call for us to map their funnel out. And once we map it out, then my team will go ahead and start building the system for you, right? But
mhm,
boom, I get sick. So there goes Katrina Young, who's in the UK, who's one of the top funnel experts that I look up to. I reach out, and guess who did the map with my clients, right? If I didn't say, let me ask, then I wouldn't have got the help that I needed. And so
mhm.
sometimes you just have to speak up and be willing to ask. I feel like if you're not willing to ask, there's two places that you need to look. Number one, you're around the wrong people if you can't ask. Okay, you're around the wrong people if you can't ask, right? Or
Right.
number two, you're not asking the right questions.
Mm,
So you might have to think about, okay, am I clear on what I'm doing so I can ask the right person? Am I
yeah.
you understand? So clarity sometimes also is something that you kind of got to say. If I'm starting a business or I'm trying to get to this next step, let me be clear on what that step is so I can know who's the right person I need to ask for help, from.
Mm. Well, I hope y'all took down some copious notes because these last 55 or 54 minutes and 20 seconds have been life changing for so many people. And you are hearing it live right here on Facebook from my coach, Miss Nyala Thorpe. She is the lady that is responsible for seeing for me, Purpose to Fly, the blueprint system, the program, the courses, the coaching, the strategies. This is who I am. She's responsible for all of this right here. Okay. So for me, I personally thank you
Thank
for
you.
being who you are, being so transparent in your journey, through everything that you have been through, being a cancer survivor, a warrior, even when sometimes I know days you feel like you couldn't go,
Yeah.
you didn't want to, you still pushed through. And I thank God for you on
Thank you.
so many levels. And just closing out before I cry, because I'm a crybaby.
Oh.
How can everyone follow you on social media and let us know what do you have coming up, what you got going
Yes.
on?
This is like so important. So thank you for the opportunity to let me share. So I have a free masterclass that's coming up next week. It is going to be awesome. Okay. And we're going to be talking about how to plan out for your 6-figure year. So in 3 days. So if you are looking to make your first 100K, your 500K, or 999K, this is going to be the training for you, because I'm going to walk you through my PTP blueprint, Plan to Profit Blueprint. And it's all about planning out your year. How do you plan out what your programs are going to be, for next year? What exciting things that you have? How are you going to drive content to that? What is that content going to be? How can you start delegating and automating the systems that we're talking about, right? So it's absolutely free. Let me give you guys I don't yeah, I'll put it right here. So I'll give you the link for that. And if you are a coach or a service professional and you just want to keep up with me, keep up with Jasmine, because she's also there with everyone, the ladies, we call ourselves the squad. And so it's the Female Coaches Society right on Facebook here. It's my Facebook group. You will absolutely
Love
find
it.
it as a place to grow. We're all about connections and community and just connecting with each other as women. So let me give you guys those links right now.
Okay. You're gonna put them in the comments?
Yeah, because I
Okay.
should have had it ready, but I'm
No,
using my
you're fine.
phone. So I didn't
Cause
want
I
to try
I
to
was
do it
about
on the
I was about to
computer.
get to it. I was gonna beat you. I was like, where I'm going.
Where's that? Where I'm like, I should have had it where I could copy and paste.
I
Okay, so
got
I
the
just put
I'll
the
do the
masterclass
females.
link in.
Okay, and I got the females, the Female Coaches
Coaches
Society.
Society, yeah.
Yep, I got that.
Awesome. I hope that that came out good for you guys. So I would love to see you all. And I hope that this was useful. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Jasmine.
You are so welcome. I greatly appreciate all of your again your transparency, your wisdom, your knowledge, and just being, open enough to share your story. For those of you all that don't know, again, you can follow her here on social media, Facebook, Nyala Thorpe, also on Instagram.
Market your
She
message.
is the Market Your Message Queen. So make sure you follow her. Click the link bit.ly slash master plan 21. Click the link, get registered for this masterclass. You do not want to miss it. Trust me. If you're looking to go to the next level, to make a next level of income, change your bracket of income, revenue, get some knowledge, and information of going to the next level, you do not want to miss this masterclass. And again, Miss Thorpe, thank you so much
Thank you.
for lending me your time and just taking time out of your super busy schedule to be here on the National Entrepreneur Month show. I greatly appreciate you. I'm continually praying for you for your continued recovery process. And y'all, just to give up, for being a cancer survivor, again, I thank God for you and continue prayers for you and your family as well. You are such an amazing person, and I thank you.
Thank you.
And again, just thank you so much for your time. All right. You have been tuned in to National Entrepreneur Month show with yours truly, Jasmine D. Millhouse, and I'm the Purpose to Fly coach. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening. Catch me back here next Tuesday for my next guest right here on National Entrepreneur Month. You all enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you later.